Well, you join me today in Bangladesh, and I'm in the far eastern part of the country, in Cox's Bazar, a 125-kilometre long slither of beach running close to the border with Myanmar, which is to the south. In fact, this is the longest continual natural beach on the planet. And if you're wondering where that name comes from, Cox's Bazar, well, it owes it to an 18th century British East India Company captain. Today, though, Cox's Bazar is where Bangladeshis come to play, and they do so in huge numbers, drawn by the soft sand, beautiful sunsets, restaurants and entertainment. Think of it as the Bangladeshi equivalent of Brighton or Blackpool, but a lot warmer and with a whole lot more sand and an awful lot noisier. I'm walking down towards Kolatoli Beach from the bus station, which brings people in from the capital in Dhaka, and there's so much going on, so many sounds and smells. I can smell curry, I can smell rice. There are market stalls here selling dried fish, and there are street cafes, lots of street cafes on the corner, just small stalls with people sitting around, grabbing a bite to eat, sitting on wooden benches, drinking tea and coffee, while the odd goat wanders around, hoping for a few scraps that are dropped from the table. There's a stall, a wheeled cart that's been brought in, that's got coconuts on it. There's people selling all sorts of stuff, bananas, trinkets. Incredibly noisy, as you can hear, the buses coming in all the time from Dhaka and other parts of Bangladesh, bringing people in to enjoy the beach. There's people selling strings of seashells made into necklaces, and there's a really lovely fresh fish stall with huge green crabs next to trays of fried prawns. Bangladesh is a busy and a crowded place. 163 million people crammed into the space the size of England and Wales. It's one of the most densely populated places on the planet. Okay, I've come further down the road now, and I can see the beach ahead. There are a few stalls selling things that actually would be quite familiar with people back home. Straw hats, sunglasses, inflatable footballs. Right, let's get down onto the sand, because the man I'm planning to meet should be around here somewhere, but this beach is so vast and it's so crowded, there are so many people, it might be a bit difficult to find him. His name is Mts Ahmed, and he's lived in Cox's Bazar all his life. He used to work for a big corporation, but 5 years ago he decided it was time to take a different path in life and dedicate his life to tackling one of Bangladesh's biggest problems, drowning. You know, it's estimated here in Bangladesh that 40 children drown every single day in rivers, in ponds, in canals, and at sea beaches like this one at Cox's Bazar. And Imtiaz is one of many people who's working to turn around that shocking statistic and do everything they can to save everyone. Hello, Imtiaz. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. I found you. It's a busy beach, isn't it, down here?
Yeah, it's busy. Lots of tourists come, and also lots of local people come today. It's very busy.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Because the sand stretches both sides for as far as the eye can see. You can't see where the beach ends.
It's quite natural, actually. In Cox's Bazar, this is the most popular tourist destination. So in the weekends, lots of tourists come, and local people also like to visit in Cox's Bazar beaches. So it's busy.
And behind us, we've got sort of the front. We've got a new hotel that's just being built. It's a huge hotel, a few modern ones, and a few smaller buildings as well.
Yeah, lots of hotels, lots of motels are still under construction. Maybe within 5 years, the total scene will be changed. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why with this beach, can't you? Should we walk over? I was just looking. There's some sun loungers and parasols down there.
Sure,
Should we go down there and have a sit down and have a chat?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Well, we're now sat down on the sun loungers, and it looks like, are we talking about low tide? I mean, we can hear the sea and some big breakers, coming in there. But is this low tide? Because it's a long way out.
Actually, high tide just started. Maybe within 2.5 hours, tide will come in.
And what's it like living in a place like this? It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is like living in paradise. It's calm, cool.
Is this where everyone dreams of coming to one day?
Yes, they do, because there are not many places to visit in Bangladesh actually, and people like to come with their friends, with their family. Lots of festivals
I think it's difficult for people back home to get an idea of the numbers of people that come down here, but this beach can get incredibly crowded, hardly any place to sort of even move through the crowds. You've lived here all your life, haven't you? Have you got a family here?
I have wife, 2 kids. My wife working as a teacher in a college. My kids, both of my kids going to the school. So yes.
How old are your children?
My son is 7 years old. My daughter is below 4.
Do you bring them down here a lot?
Well, every week. They love to come here. They love to spend their time here. Whenever they come, they play in the water. Whenever they come, they play in the sand. They bring their toys.
What's lovely is to see so many families down here, men, women down here, women in their beautiful saris, but just walking into the water, sort of fully dressed. They don't seem to worry about getting all wet, do they?
Yes, actually, culturally, most of the women like to cover themselves, but still they want to enjoy their time.
Well, we've moved a little further north up the beach, and in a country where everything seems so exotic and so different from the UK, there's something that's very familiar. Flapping in the wind, it's a large yellow and red flag, and in the distance I can see a lifeguard dressed in a yellow t-shirt and red shorts, perched up on top of a lifeguard tower scanning the beach. You could be on one of hundreds of RNLI lifeguarded patrol beaches in the UK. It looks incredibly familiar, and Mts, this is the reason why you're here, isn't it? It's because of these lifeguards. How did this all start? How did you end up with a beach with lifeguards in the traditional red and yellow?
We have a project called SeaSafe. SeaSafe has got lifeguard service. In 2011, RNLI came here and provide a life-saving training to few surfers.
So we've got a situation here at Cox's Bazaar where we've got a group of surfers who enjoy coming down the beach, they enjoy surfing, but they see people drown on a regular basis. They're able to save some of them, but they're not able to save all of them. So they ask the RNLI for some help to get some proper training.
Yes, actually drowning is a common issue in Cox's Bazar as lots of people come and visit. So yes, there are a group of surfers who want to rescue the people, but lack of the training, there was a training required. So that's why RNLI came here, provide the life-saving training to the surfers, and after that, since 2014, the SeaSafe project started. The SeaSafe project is implemented by Center for Injury Prevention and Research Bangladesh, that is called CIPRB, and supported by RNLI, Royal National Lifeboat Institution, UK.
So it became more formalised, really. The training for the lifeguards and the recruitment of the lifeguards came under CIPRB, so that you could actually run it as a proper structure rather than a group of surfers who'd been trained. It needed to have some sustainability.
Yes, actually, yeah. Since then, the project is taking place with a formal way. Right now, SeaSafe has got 27 lifeguards, and the service is same as UK, and this is following the same standard like UK lifeguard service.
Now, you came on board right at the beginning, didn't you? 2015, when CIPRB had just got involved here. What was it like here, back then, 5 years ago?
Well, 5 years ago, the scenery is not like that. People come, people want to swim over here, but the beach was risky because there was no lifeguard service, no standard lifeguard service was here. So drowning was common issue, and people can't identify the hazards.
What sort of numbers of people were drowning before the lifeguards were here on this beach?
Well, every year 5 to 6 people drown.
And that's just on this very short...
This very short beach. Because Cox's Bazar is more than 120-kilometer beach. There are also other beaches, so number of people drown. With this service, actually only 3 beaches we are covering, and since we start our journey, the drowning rate is under control, and under the red and yellow flag, there is no drowning.
So the 3 lifeguarded beaches you've got here are about 1 kilometre each, so three
3
kilometres.
Yes.
And you're saying that before this service was here, 5 or 6 people were drowning just on that 3 kilometre stretch every year.
Yes, that's true. Right now, the scenario is totally changed. You can see red and yellow flag. You can see there is, lifeguard patrol beach. You can see the lifeguard service. You can see lifeguard rescuing people. They're educating the tourists. They're educating to the people. So, scenario is totally changed.
Yeah, we could hear a whistle just going off then. That's from one of your lifeguards, isn't it? I can see
Yes.
them just walking along the shore. What would they be doing there?
Well, the lifeguards saw that two people going outside of the red and yellow flag, and the lifeguard just whistled and tried to bring them under the red and yellow flag.
Because they get exactly the same training as lifeguards would in the UK.
Yes, actually, exactly. They have got the same training, same sort of skill training, almost same sort of equipment also for the rescue. They use the rescue boat, rescue tubes. They have the same sort of training. They can do the CPR.
I think what people will find incredible as well is that they're on patrol 365 days a year. It's not a summer season, it's all year round.
Yes, it's a challenge because, lots of tourists come. Actually, lots of people come to the beach. So we have to run our service for 365 days.
Because they've got a lot to deal with, haven't they? Because there's the more traditional beaches just up north from us where people are running into the water. But they've also got people selling, with huge inflatables that you can hire, sort of old lorry tyres that have been blown up and brightly painted, and they keep them on sticks and people come along and hire them and go out into the water, and we know how dangerous they can be.
Yes, actually, inflatables are one of the main reason of drowning because people think that especially who can't swim, they think this is the safest way for the swimming, but actually this is one of the dangerous thing to use because Cox's Bazar is a sandy beach. Rip current is a common issue. So whenever they use the inflatable, if the offshore wind came or they caught by rip current, they become off balance and they get drowned.
We heard behind us there's some quad bikes that people are going on. There was a jet ski just out on the water a second ago, and lots of traders and things coming around selling things, some of them children as well, and all of these people you've got to protect.
Every week we also provide weekly refresher training. Sometimes we provide the training to the beach boys, we provide the training to the photographers, we provide training to the other people who ran the inflatable, so that whenever they see anyone struggling, they can go and help.
Yeah, so these are the people that are on the beach. People live on this beach, don't they? It's quite sad to see that there's some children down here who obviously live on the beach, on and around the beach. They're quite poor, but they're here all the time.
Yes, they're here all the time. So that's why we try to provide them the skill, the training, proper training.
And you've had examples where your lifeguards have actually been children that have been down here selling teas and coffees, and eventually they've trained up as lifeguards and they're able to support themselves.
Well, yeah. Whenever these children saw a lifeguard, they want to be a lifeguard. They are real life heroes. So they treat as a real life hero, the ideal in their life. Actually, the value of the project is saving life and changing life. It is not saving life; we are also changing lives.
One of those who has seen their life change is Kamran Hassan. He's been coming here since he was 5. By 13, he joined the Cox's Bazar surfers and witnessed people drowning firsthand. Now, he's a lifeguard.
Like a few times I see people drown in the years. Actually, the tourists who come from Dhaka, they don't know how to swim and they don't have no idea about beach, how to swim and where the hazards are. So they usually get drowned because they go far and they don't see the channel and they don't see the deep water and they get drowned.
And you saw this as a surfer. How regularly did it happen?
Many people go a little bit far, and I swim with my surfboard. I give my surfboard and hold. I tell them, please hold this surfboard, and you will survive, and I will take you to the shore. Like it's happened many times, but not die.
And you managed to save them.
Yeah.
Even before you were trained as a lifeguard.
Yeah. Yes, that's happened. Then
Is the main problem that they can't swim? As you said, they don't understand the currents.
they are not a strong swimmer. Even they a little bit swim, but they are not a strong swimmer to fight with the current, and they get scared into the water.
So you were saving lives before you became a lifeguard.
Yes.
But now do you feel much more capable
Yes.
doing that because of the training that you've got?
Because before, when I was not trained, I can only understand, because as a surfer I can only understand how far people go. The trainer teach us to go talk to them, show them the hazard, single them to not to go far, communication with them, and show them what is the hazard.
So you have to point out those hazards to people when they arrive.
Yeah, what we do now after lifeguard, what we do now, people go far and we give whistle to them not to go far, and they understand whistle, why they're giving whistle. Now is dangerous, a strong current, and if you go deep, if you don't know how to swim, if you go deep, then you will get problems.
And since you've been a lifeguard, have you saved many people?
Yeah, I have saved many people, and I help many people, and I also rescue many people.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that you've saved someone's life with your skill and your training?
I feel good. I feel very good, and I feel proud to have this training, and I really proud to be RNLI and CIPIB. They're doing this great job in Cox's Bazar. If they're not doing this job, I think we cannot save life in Cox's Bazar. Many tourists, many local people will die.
It sounds, Cameron, that by training up, you've changed lives, you've saved people's lives.
Yeah.
But also you've made a big impact on your own life as well.
Yes. It's so as I saving other people's life, I have also changed my life in the lifeguard, and I love my job and I love lifeguarding. Yeah.
We've come down a bit closer to the shore now. The breakers coming in. It's warming up a bit. There's some really interesting looking boats offshore. They almost look a bit like sort of Chinese junks. What are they?
They're the fishing boats actually. They're catching fishes near the shore.
There's quite a few out there, aren't there? And they're quite sort of ornate, aren't they? With big sort of big bows on them that look really interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. Fishing is the second source of income in Cox's Bazar. So you can have lots of fishes, very good fishes. Right now, tourism is the main source of income of the local people. Fishing is the second source of income.
And do you have a problem with fisherman drowning as well? Is that another issue?
Well, yes. And last year, we rescued 11 fishermen.
Wow, that's incredible. The lifeguards here.
The lifeguards here.
What happens? Do they just fall off the boats? I mean, the boats are probably about half a mile offshore here, aren't they?
Yeah, actually, when the sea is rough and when they try to pull their fishing nets, sometimes they fall down or the boat off balance, and that drowning happens.
Well, see, so as easy as that, and then
So easy.
Well, we're taking a walk now because despite the incredible work that the lifeguards do here every day of the year, it is impossible to save everyone, as we've been hearing, on a stretch of beach that goes for 125 kilometres and millions of people coming here all year round, and those yellow and red flags only cover a few kilometres. We're moving to a spot where in 2016 4 schoolboys got into difficulty in the water, and one of them, 12-year-old Jamil, couldn't be saved. I can see ahead of us, we're meeting up with a couple of lifeguards, aren't we? Rashid and Mohammed, who were off duty the day the tragedy happened. And with them also is Tanzil, now 16, who was saved by them but lost one of his friends.
আমরা সবাই বন্ধুরা মিলে টিউবে করে গোসল করতেছিলাম তখন
Four of them, Tanzil himself and 3 other friends, including Jamal. 4 of them hired a inflatable here and went into the water. Suddenly a wave came and they fall from that inflatable, And after few minutes, they realized that Jamal was not there with them. Then he saw lifeguard here. Lifeguard rescued him, and lifeguards were searching for Jamal, but they couldn't find Jamal. After 7 days, Jamal's dead body was found.
You said there were 3 of them left in the water. Could any of those 3 swim?
একজন সাঁতার জানতো তা একজন একজন সাঁতার জানার কারণে
One of his friend can swim, and he was trying to save or hold all the other friends.
Did Tanzel think that he was going to drown? Did he think he was going to end up like Jamil?
তোমার কি মনে হয়েছিল যে সেই সময় যে তুমি জামালের মতো তুমিও মরে যেতে পারতা, তুমিও ভেসে যেতে পারতা?
অবশ্যই
তুমি কি ভয় পেয়ে গেছিলে ওরকম?
ভয় পেয়েছি
Yes, he was really scared, and he thought at that time he could drown like Jamal.
Can they describe what the scene was like when they arrived to find the 3 boys in the water, with one who could swim, desperately trying to hold up the other 2, including Tanzel, who couldn't swim?
এরা একটা টিউব নিয়ে গোসল করতেছিল 4 জন। তো প্রথমে আমরা তাদের
They saw one boy was trying to swim, and two other children is holding him. 3 of them just floating, but they are having water and they are struggling. And then immediately they went for the rescue. And then one of them saying that there is another one. The name of the children is Jamal. He was not found. And then they start searching Jamal. After 1 and 2 hours, they couldn't find Jamal, and then they decided to go back.
If they hadn't have been there, what do you think would have happened?
ওনাদের ডিউটিটা আসলে শেষ হয়ে গেছিল।
If they couldn't come back on that day, particular day, maybe 3 of them could drown like Jamal.
How did it feel, Rashid, to know that you'd saved 2, potentially 3 lives? Hearing Tanzel say that if you hadn't have turned up, they would probably have drowned.
ওই দিন বলতে গেলে কি আমার ডিউটি শেষ হয়ে গেছে, যে আমি শুনলাম যে কেউ বিপদে পড়ে আছে, হয়তো আমি
Well, he was happy one way that they came back and saved at least 3 lives. But still, he's sad that they couldn't save Jamal. Still, 1 life lost.
Doing amazing work here, but you can't save everyone, it seems.
আসলে আমাদের বিচে প্রচুর পরিমাণ পর্যটক আছে, তো আমরা যদি এই লাইফগার্ড সার্ভিসটা একটু
If we educate people to swim between red and yellow flag where the lifeguard patrols, life will be saved and secure.
Tanzel, what have you done about your safety since you were rescued? Have you learned to swim?
অবশ্যই একটা যেহেতু জীবনে অনাকাঙ্ক্ষিত ঘটনা
He wants to take the formal swimming lesson, and he thinks that this year he is going to join for the swimming lesson.
Okay, so MTS and I are walking back off the beach now, hopefully back to get a coffee, possibly at one of those stalls I passed earlier. MTS, do you ever lose hope about the problem of drowning in Bangladesh?
No, I'm not, because I have a very passionate group of people that I'm leading that is called CSAFE. I have a very good, very efficient lifeguards. If I lose my hope, what will happen to them? So I never lose my hope.
What of the future here for lifeguards at Cox's Bazar?
Well, you can see right now we have a very good skilled people over here. But one of our challenge is sustainability. So that's why we are trying to go for funding from other sources. Like we are trying to get the NGOs, INGOs. We are searching for the corporates. We are searching for the Ministry of Tourism.
If I came back here in 5 years' time, what would you hope that I'd see here at Cox's Bazar?
Well, maybe you will find our lifeguard service covering 3 more beaches. You will find that most of the tourists listening to us, most of the tourists before they come to the beach, they have most sorts of information. You will see in the hotel there are lots of information, safety information provided by the CSAFE or the government authorities. But most of the hotel owners, they like to give the safety information to the tourists. The government will support us, and definitely the project will sustain.
Well, MTS, thanks very much for talking to me today. Should we go and get that coffee?
Definitely. Thanks.
Okay. Let's go.